Bitcoin has been under pressure, altcoins have been struggling, and now we're witnessing what could become the biggest IPO in market history. SpaceX. The question everyone is asking is whether this thing is about to become the ultimate retail trap or the most explosive public market debut we've ever seen. And if you've been watching crypto closely, you may have noticed something interesting. As the excitement around SpaceX has been surging, Bitcoin and risk assets have simultaneously been pulling back. And some analysts believe that capital has been being repositioned ahead of this IPO as both crypto and SpaceX compete for the same pool of speculative growth potential. So today I want to answer three important questions. Is the SpaceX IPO actually the reason crypto has been struggling recently? Will this become a classic day one euphoria event that'll quickly fade? Or are we about to witness one of the most significant public launches in modern day financial history? Stick around because I'm answering all that and more in today's episode. One of the most interesting trends that I've been watching lately is not just Bitcoin, stocks, or even AI, but it's the prediction markets. Not because they're new, but because they give us a real-time look into what people are actually believing is going to happen. And that's where RAIN.TRADE comes in. RAIN.TRADE is a prediction market platform built around a simple idea: any possible outcome. Literally anything can become a market. Most platforms limit users to markets that have already been created, but with RAIN.TRADE, you can actually create your own market around virtually any topic, event, or outcome that you care about. Now, whether that's sports, finance, politics, entertainment, pop culture, or major global events, users can create markets and trade on the outcomes that they believe are the most likely to occur. And what's especially interesting right now is that RAIN.TRADE is launching as one of the largest prediction market platforms in the world by total value locked, already sitting behind only a handful of major players in the industry with more than $100 million on the platform. And with the World Cup just beginning, this becomes one of the most active areas on the platform. Of course, you'll find markets on match results, teams, and players, but what makes it unique is that users can create entirely new markets around emerging storylines, transfers, controversies, fan debates, and unexpected developments as they're happening. For example, if there's a trending topic that everyone is discussing online, you don't have to wait for someone else to create the market. You can literally create it yourself. And because RAIN.TRADE supports user-generated markets in multiple languages, people around the world can participate in the topics that matter most to them. Another thing worth mentioning here is that how the market resolution works. RAIN.TRADE utilizes AI resolution through the RAIN protocol to help settle markets using data-driven outcomes. And if users ever disagree with a resolution, there's also a built-in dispute process designed to help ensure fairness and transparency. So at the end of the day, what makes prediction markets so fascinating is that they turn opinions into measurable odds. Instead of asking people what they think will happen, you can actually see where conviction exists in real time. If you'd like to check out RAIN.TRADE and explore the trending markets, or even create your own market around a topic you're passionate about, check out the link down below in our description area and see what the world thinks is going to happen next. So at the time of recording this, we are about 20 minutes to potentially 2.5 hours before the actual information is going to be shared, or you can actually look at the price action up on a chart, right? So SpaceX technically is live now as the opening bell has hit at 9:30 a.m. It's about 11:15 a.m. right now at the time of recording. And I wanted to share, a couple of things here, right? It's the can I trade SpaceX today? Is it live? Where can we see the price action, all these things. And essentially, yes, you can trade SpaceX today on the stock market under the symbol SPCX. All right, companies finalized the initial public offering at $135 per share. However, there are a few important details. Trading time: while the market opens at 9:30 a.m. Eastern, IPOs undergo a price discovery process where underwriters manually match buys and sells. Public trading is expected to begin sometime around the middle of the day here, right? So again, between 11:30 to 2 p.m. Eastern today is what they're assuming. High volatility to ensue at this point, right? Due to massive demand, pre-market indications. A lot of institutions are expecting and anticipating $170 to $175 as to where the opening price is going to occur. So that's what we'll be looking for as we, kind of seek out the rest of today, right? I want to make it really clear here, right? I'm not really trying to drive any type of FOMO or high, indication towards SpaceX. This is a very, I would draw a lot of caution on this at this point. I think that there's a high, risk potential is high volatility. That's as clear as day here, right? I know that many are looking at this as a potential retail trap where this could, basically you have the transition, right? Retail comes in, aka the yous and me's out there that are really excited about something like this, want to have exposure to it. There's been new regulations and kind of like, new rulings that have opened up so that people can actually have more capability to be able to attain this. And with that being said, it's just a time where caution is very heavily warranted. Okay. I do think that this is actually something that could see a sizable move higher. At the same time, we could see some really quick dumps, right? Again, this is listing at $135. Currently, if we look at some other options to see what the price could be or like kind of is at the moment, right? One example is over here on like BitUnix. They're doing a pre-IPO tokenized version. Okay, so take that for what it's worth. But it's already traded upwards of about 185 earlier today. All right, and then now it's back towards about 160 again. This is supposed to list at 135. It's in theory, but it's already trading like this, ahead of the curve. So could we get a wick down on 135 quickly? Potentially, but I do think that the demand here is very, very high, right? So in the sense of uh, buys versus sells, it may be a day where we see a sizable move to the upside. Okay. To me, it's not one of those that I'd chase heavily. I think that, if you want a little exposure to it, dip your toes in the water, as some would say, but just don't be overly chasing this. And also just don't be surprised to see it actually see a big move to the upside and then feel that FOMO after, right? Like I would just anticipate this to be a very, very volatile asset and expect some really big moves as it starts here. But yeah, right now trading at about 166, already about $30 higher than the suggested rate here as we were going to start it off here. Still not available on the traditional markets quite yet. So we'll see how that kind of unfolds later today. Another thing I wanted to bring up is the question of, is this the reason why Bitcoin has been pulling back? And is this, as big institutional money been reallocating towards something like this IPO? In theory, I mean, it could be aligned with that to some degree, because again, if we're looking at Bitcoin ETF flows over the last, I mean, really since May, it's just been solid selling and outflows. Really big ones too, right? So we're talking like these are in millions per dollar. All right, so $330 million sold this day, 700 million the next day. That's $1 billion right there, right? So far and so forth. Even up until yesterday, where we still have another 22 million being sold. That's probably nothing as far as like a nothing burger as far as that exact day. But there's just a lot of outflows going on, right? That we could see at least documented, and potentially, these have been pouring a little bit into other things, right? So, and that could be one of them. So, interesting enough that that's kind of just aligning in this time frame. So, it definitely could be one of the contributors, I guess you could say. And again, if we look at SpaceX over here on TradingView, where we're looking to see what the price action could be, it's not even listed yet. So again, waiting for like 11:30 to 2 p.m. when they fully bring it on. I'll be honest, there's probably not going to be any actual, there's probably not going to be any information that's useful as far as on a chart this early, because it's just basically going to be like when you look at a Binance listing or something like that, right? You get these huge candles that, usually wick up and then it overall tend to go back down. More than likely, we're going to see something along the lines of that today, but nothing that's going to be, technical analysis wise at this stage, just coming into it. So I just want to see, what it kind of starts, building off as. It's always fun to see something like that, like just kind of new get listed and just see where it can end up. Now, as far as Bitcoin does go, Mondays we kind of look at things a little bit more on a larger scale. I'd like to say on Monday I highlighted how we could see a drop down back to 60,800 at the time. These were our 2 weekly targets as we started off the week. All right. So we were trading around here, right? 64,000, got a $4,000 pullback right to that level. This was also a local gold pocket. Okay. Where we found some support at here. So far, putting in a potential higher low. So in the sense of just very, locally here, we're putting in a little bit of an uptrend. And I fully anticipate us to hit our weekly our secondary weekly target that I'm always looking on, right? And it's the average of last week, likely to get met this week, which is the weekly pivot, 65,400. Not too far away right now. Sits about 2% away from us, okay? A big thing that we wanted to look for as we started off through after Monday essentially is one thing I always like to look for. Again, we were looking for that pullback to come down to here. When do you start seeing a little bit of strength come back? Is when we reclaim our Monday's low. And this is again all on a local scale. Like this is, nothing that leads to we got back above 62,000. That means all-time highs. This is just what I look to throughout the week, which institutes whether we see another rise up towards, a higher key level that we, have our eyes on, or if we're going to be looking lower. Okay. So Monday's low was a really nice one to get reclaimed right here. And we are moving our way up towards that now, towards our new weekly, our current weekly area just above us. It is Friday, however, so as we walk into the weekend, we will probably generate some new information that we'll be able to discuss next week, or have in the market intel Discord community as always. But yeah, so Bitcoin, as far as local price action, think we're heading up potentially around that SpaceX, drop later today. As far as looking at this in the sense of, is this the reason that Bitcoin's been pulling back? I suppose, we could align that with it. I don't foresee that to be the ultimate like true blue statement, the all-in reason why Bitcoin has been seeing a correction, of course. But if anyone, especially institution-wise, saw the opportunity where they maybe have been up in this, latest move here, where this was again about a 40% increase to the upside, not only in Bitcoin, obviously even in Ethereum, some other projects in the crypto space were up sizably. And if they want to take some profits and reallocate that, then I guess that does make sense to some degree here. And it does align with that, right? So we could be seeing that, and then now we're going to see if that reallocation comes back, right? So the people that were buying the IPO at way less, obviously we have employees of the SpaceX team that have gotten distributions throughout the before they went public. So they're going to be able to potentially cash out, and then we'll see if they're going to be looking to park that capital now in something that is down. What is this? 20%, 27% over the last few weeks, and obviously down sizably since the end of last year, right? So we're sitting still with Bitcoin at approximately 50% down from all-time high. So will the proceeds and the profits that get taken shift back into Bitcoin is the question. For any type of continued upside from where we are right now, I always like to look at the current price action and look at the lines in the sand, right? Like from where we are right now, what is going to signal even more strength, or any strength, I guess, from where we are. And that weekly pivot that I've highlighted, the 65,500, is a really nice level for two reasons. Again, very likely to get met this week. So for anybody that took the long, around that 60,800, this is definitely a short-term take profit area. But for the long haul, what are we looking for any type of strength? And it's actually to flip that same level currently, which is going to be just looking left, one of our most previous, swing lows here. All right, so reclaiming this would be a good sign here that we would likely see some more upside coming out of this. And then we would look to see how that kind of unfolds. We are now basically just in a pretty sizable range here on Bitcoin yet again, which we tend to do more times than not. But for a local area to just kind of be aware of, I'd say that, yes, again, really nice move here. Pull back to that weekly level 1, going now for weekly level 2 as far as the short-term stuff goes. And again, I break all this down inside market intel. Otherwise, we're looking to flip that level for any more upside, and then we can come in and look at this again as we start off next week. Before we wrap it up, folks, I want to hear from you as well. Do you think that the SpaceX IPO becomes one of the biggest public market success stories of all time? Or do you think that this turns into a classic hype cycle where retail investors pile in and the stock struggles to maintain momentum after the initial excitement fades? And more importantly, do you think that the recent weakness in Bitcoin and crypto has been anything to do with investors preparing for the SpaceX IPO, or are these completely unrelated events? Drop me your thoughts down in the comment section below. I'll be reading through them and responding to them over the weekend, as many as I can, as always. And as always, if you enjoyed today's analysis, be sure to leave a like, subscribe to the channel if you're new, hit the notification bell so you don't miss any future updates. Thank you all so much for watching. I'll see you all in the next video, and until then, everybody, cheers.